Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kane's surprise, the deal between Claire and Adam, and Lily's turnaround. It depicts Kane Ashby, played by Billy Flynn, shocking Phyllis Summers, played by Michelle Stafford. Adam Newman is offered a deal by Kyle Abbott and Claire Grace Newman. Additionally, Eric Braden's Victor Newman has a proposal for Christian Khalil's Lily Winters. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Claire Grace Newman's devious deal. Let's start off with Claire and Kyle, who stop by Adam's office. In the preview clip for next week, Adam coolly and casually asks what brings them by. As Claire asks, why else do Newmans drop by each other's unannounced? Kyle remains silent. To strike a deal. I'm intrigued by the woman's proposal because of her slight smile. Lily Winter's new path next. Victor will try to come up with a battle plan regarding Kane. The patriarch has already united his family. Next, he has a chat with Lily and Devon Winters. Victor inquires whether Lily is aware that Kane has returned to Genoa City while Devon sits quietly on the couch. Lily is and claims to have just discussed the situation with Devon. The businesswoman then declares that she will stay away from him. Victor, on the other hand, suggests that Lily do exactly the opposite. I don't like where this is going. Oh. Kane Ashby's surprise. According to the spoilers for the first week of August, Phyllis and Kane are alone somewhere. The tycoon makes the announcement that another person will be joining their meeting as the redhead holds a drink. Phyllis makes an effort to keep her cool despite the obvious surprise of this. Well, they must be a heavy hitter if you're letting them into your business world, Red says to Kane. Wow, she really can apply it a little too thickly, isn't she? The door to Billy Abbott is then opened by Kane. From a distance, Phyllis appears anxious as the two men converse at the door. It's unclear whether she can see who is at the door. Regardless, the situation is about to get even more complicated. Although I don't like Phyllis very much, I really hope Kane didn't use her to betray her at the last minute. After all, she was the first to say that Damian Kane wasn't killed by Kane. In a week that's about to reshape Genoa City, surprises, schemes, and shifting loyalties shake the core of relationships and alliances, beginning with the quiet yet explosive presence of Kane Ashby, whose return to town is sending shockwaves through the power corridors of Newman, Abbott, and Chancellor Winters. Kane's latest move is nothing short of theatrical, and it unfolds in classic Genoa City fashion: deceptive, dramatic, and laced with emotional chaos. While Phyllis Summers raises a glass of wine in a sleek, dimly lit lounge tucked inside society's VIP room, she's both intrigued and cautious, her emerald eyes narrowing on Kane as he paces lightly, a subtle smirk playing on his lips. Phyllis has learned to be wary of men with charming accents and hidden agendas, especially when they wear suits tailored sharp enough to cut glass. You said this was a private business chat, Phyllis murmurs, swirling her drink, her voice equal parts curiosity and suspicion. Kane smiles, slow and deliberate, then leans forward just as the door opens and in walks Billy Abbott. The air instantly changes. Phyllis stiffens in her seat, the red in her hair practically glowing from the fire brewing under her skin. Well, she hisses, eyes darting between the two men. Someone's feeling nostalgic for disasters past. Kane, unfazed, motions for Billy to sit. We all have something to gain from this meeting, he announces coolly. And before you accuse me of blindsiding you, Red, just know I invited him here for your benefit. Billy, who hasn't stopped glaring at Phyllis since entering, adds his own snide jab. Funny, I don't remember volunteering for a therapy session. Meanwhile, across town, the momentum shifts to an entirely different battlefield. The sophisticated office of Adam Newman, where the black and chrome decor feels as severe as the man behind the desk. Adam's world is precise, calculated, and cold, but it's about to be infiltrated by a very different kind of power play. Claire Grace Newman walks in first, her heels clicking purposefully on the marble floor. Behind her, Kyle Abbott enters, arms crossed, jaw clenched, a man clearly aware that this visit comes with risks. Adam glances up, eyes narrowing as he studies the cousins. What brings the golden children of the Newman-Abbott alliance to my humble lair? He drawls, fingers tapping on his desk like a metronome of growing tension. Claire doesn't miss a beat. Why else do Newmans drop by unannounced? She replies, flashing a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Kyle, uncharacteristically silent, lets Claire do the talking, and what she lays out is equal parts bold and devious. The proposition? A strategic alliance, one that keeps Victor at bay, gives Claire control over her public narrative, and offers Adam a path back into the family's power core, albeit through the side door. She suggests pooling resources to launch a venture that can undercut Victoria's current market expansion plan, something that would force the mustache to pay attention to the forgotten Newman factions. Adam's eyebrows lift in interest. He knows Claire's smart, but the ruthlessness in her tone catches him slightly off guard. And what does Kyle get out of this? Adam asks pointedly, but Kyle only says, let's just say I have some unfinished business with Summer and this will help balance the scales. The two men lock eyes, neither trusting the other, while Claire watches like a queen adjusting her pawns before an opening move. While the scheming simmers, Victor Newman is busy orchestrating his own long game. At the Newman ranch, the setting is deceptively calm. The old lion sits in his leather chair, sipping coffee with an intensity that suggests a looming storm. Across from him, Lily Winters sits on the edge of the couch, posture upright, lips pressed into a determined line. Beside her, Devon Hamilton Winters remains quiet, arms crossed, sensing where this is going. Victor starts the conversation plainly. You know Kane's back in town? He asks. Lily doesn't flinch. I do. Devon and I discussed it already. Her voice is firm, but Victor leans in. Good. Because I want you to do the opposite of what you're thinking. Devon raises an eyebrow while Lily shifts slightly. What do you mean? She asks. Victor folds his hands together. Instead of avoiding Kane, get close to him. Learn what his real motives are. I have a feeling he's not here just to stir up the past. Devon starts to protest, but Lily raises a hand. You want me to spy on my ex-husband? Victor's expression doesn't change. I want you to protect your company. And your family. I've seen men like Kane before, charming, wounded, with just enough truth to make people doubt everything. Lily pauses. She's spent years trying to heal from the wreckage of their past, to rebuild herself from the woman who once believed in fairy tales. But something in Victor's tone shakes her, a warning that echoes louder than her pride. Fine, she says at last. I'll do it. But on my terms. Victor nods, satisfied. Devon, however, looks unconvinced. Back in the lounge, the tension between Phyllis, Kane, and Billy is boiling over. Phyllis pushes her chair back, standing slowly, the smirk on her lips now sharp. So what is this? She challenges. Some macho test? You drag me here to see if I still flinch around the man who burned my life to the ground. Kane raises a hand. Stop. Both of you. His voice is steady but commanding. This isn't about the past. This is about power and making sure we're all on the winning side when the next storm hits. Billy scoffs. You mean when Victor launches his next attack? Kane nods. Exactly. I've been keeping tabs. Victor's not playing defense anymore. His moving pieces across the board, and Lily is one of them. That gets Phyllis's attention. What do you mean? Kane looks away briefly, then meets her eyes. He's grooming her to be his next pawn. And she might not even realize it. Or worse, she already does. Phyllis swears under her breath, while Billy just laughs bitterly. She always did love to wear a crown. Kane continues, but here's the real reason I asked you both here. We can beat him. Not with noise, not with chaos, but with leverage. Billy looks skeptical. And what leverage do you have, Kane? Kane leans forward, lowering his voice. I know things about Victor's involvement with Carter, about the cover-up, about what Damien Kane was really after before he vanished. You think his death was clean? It wasn't. I've got files that'll make Victor crawl. Phyllis's eyes widen, but she masks it quickly. And you're just telling us this out of the goodness of your heart? She asks. Kane smiles again, but this time it's colder. No. I'm telling you this because if we don't unite now, we're all going down one by one. Over at Newman Enterprises, Adam turns toward the window after Claire and Kyle leave, hands in his pockets. He doesn't trust them, but he respects their audacity. And Claire, she reminds him of himself. Controlled. Calculating. Dangerous. He knows if he turns down their offer, they'll find someone else to partner with, maybe even Billy or Nate. But if he accepts, he becomes part of a rebellion that could either destroy Victor or rebuild the Newman dynasty on very different terms. He dials a number. "We need to talk," he says curtly, then hangs up. Later that evening, Lily enters society and immediately spots Kane at the bar. He turns, sensing her presence before she says a word. "We need to talk," she says, echoing Adam's earlier words. Kane motions to the empty seat beside him. "I figured you'd come around." She sits, not looking at him. "Don't flatter yourself." But he knows her too well. There's hesitation in her voice. Pain she doesn't want him to see. "Victor wants me to get close to you," she admits, catching him off guard. "He thinks you're dangerous." Kane smiles, slow and sad. He's not wrong. Lily looks at him, then really looks, and for a moment, it's like old wounds reopening. "So tell me, Kane," she says. "Are you?" Kane doesn't answer right away. Instead, he leans in and whispers, "Depends on who's asking and what they want." Across town, Claire, in her suite at the Grand Phoenix, studies a copy of the files she lifted from Adam's office after he left for the night. She never intended to play fair. Not with Adam. Not with Kyle. Not even with Victor. She's working for something bigger, something personal. Something that will finally, once and for all, reveal the truth about her parents, about how she came to be the girl left behind in a world of power games and broken legacies. She places a photo of her younger self next to one of a young Nikki Newman and whispers, "Let the games begin." And as Genoa City's skyline glimmers under the weight of secrets, the real story is only just beginning. Kane's not the only one with a surprise up his sleeve. Claire's deal with Adam is merely the first act in a far-reaching chess match, and Lily, caught between her past and her future, may be the unwitting queen every player hopes to control. But this is the young and the restless, and in this world, pawns can become kings, queens can go rogue, and sometimes, the only way to survive is to strike first. The city may have settled into its nighttime quiet, but the battle lines in Genoa City had never been more clearly drawn. As the lights of Newman Towers glimmered over Chancellor Winter's glass walls, a war of whispers, secrets, and shifting loyalties raged on, and every major player knew the next move had to count or cost them everything. While Claire Grace Newman sat in her hotel suite, toying with digital copies of documents stolen from Adam's confidential archive, across town in a far less elegant part of town, Kane Ashby had just finished laying the groundwork for his greatest coup yet. He leaned back in a leather booth at Society, hands folded in front of him as he faced Lily Winters across the table. The air was thick with unspoken emotion, and the low clink of glasses and soft music did nothing to ease the rising tension between them. Kane's last words still lingered in the air. "Depends on who's asking and what they want." Lily's eyes flashed with a familiar mixture of disbelief and reluctant admiration. It was maddening how Kane could still get under her skin, still speak with that slow, careful intensity that made her question her instincts. "You haven't changed," she said finally. "You still want to be the one pulling the strings." Kane chuckled softly. "I don't need to pull the strings, Lily. I just need to know who's holding them." He paused. "Right now? It's not Victor. It's not even Claire or Adam. It's whoever controls the story. And I'm ready to take control of mine again." Lily considered his words carefully. Victor's instructions still rang in her ears, but now she wasn't sure if his plan had been short-sighted. Kane wasn't simply a rogue element, he was becoming the axis around which a new power structure could form. She glanced around before leaning in. "You said you had files on Victor, about Carter, about Damien." Kane nodded slowly. "Phyllis and Billy know pieces of it. But only I have the full puzzle. Victor orchestrated more than a few cover-ups. He paid Carter, staged a disinformation campaign, and had someone tamper with evidence in Damien's so-called death." Lily's breath caught. "You're saying Damien isn't really—" "I'm saying," Kane interrupted, "that if Damien is dead, someone made damn sure there'd be no trail. That someone was paid by Victor." Suddenly, the weight of her decision to spy on Kane twisted into something deeper. She wasn't just dealing with an ex-husband trying to reclaim a sliver of power, she was sitting across from a man who might be the key to unlocking a conspiracy Victor had buried deep. Elsewhere, at Newman Media's sleek top floor, Adam leaned back in his chair as his phone buzzed. A message from Claire flashed on the screen. "We need to meet." "Not at your office." He raised an eyebrow but typed a quick response. Where? Her reply came seconds later. Underground parking. 10 minutes. Adam grabbed his jacket and descended into the shadows of the building's underground levels, finding Claire already waiting in a shadowed corner. If this is your idea of dramatics, he began, but Claire cut him off. You're being watched. That's why we can't talk in there. Kyle doesn't trust you. And Victor? He's got eyes everywhere. Adam folded his arms. So what's this about? Claire pulled out a flash drive. You said you wanted leverage. I have it. But we're going to use it my way. Adam looked down at the drive and then back at her, expression unreadable. And what's your way? Public exposure. Controlled leaks. Not to destroy the family, just to reposition it. If we want to take over the Newman legacy, we need to start with reshaping the perception of power. Adam almost laughed. You think Victor will just step aside while we reshape him? Claire smirked. He won't even realize he's being reshaped until it's too late. It was in that moment that Adam realized Claire wasn't just a wild card in the Newman game, she was a full-blown strategist in her own right. One with access to secrets even he hadn't unearthed. So what do you want from me? He asked. Claire looked him dead in the eyes. Back me. Stay quiet. And when the media shift begins, support it without blinking. We show Victor his own reflection and we make it ugly enough to get him to retreat. Meanwhile, back at society, Billy Abbott had lingered long after Phyllis stormed out. He wasn't used to being caught off guard, but Kane's revelation about Damien, Victor, and the files had shaken something loose in him. For the first time in weeks, Billy felt like he wasn't chasing shadows. He flagged down the bartender and ordered another drink when his phone vibrated. A text from Jack. Where are you? I just found something on Carter. He was never supposed to be in Genoa City. His assignment was in DC. Billy stared at the message, then at the bar, and muttered under his breath. What the hell is going on here? Across the city, Victor Newman wasn't unaware of the storm brewing. In fact, he was reading a security report from one of his private investigators when Nate Hastings walked into his office. I got your message, Nate said, closing the door behind him. Victor looked up. You used to be a surgeon. You know how to remove tumors, yes? Nate blinked. Excuse me. Victor continued. There's a cancer inside this company. A secret alliance being formed. Kyle, Claire, even Adam, perhaps Kane. And now Lily is teetering on the edge. I need someone on the inside. You used to know how to dissect, to cut precisely without hesitation. I want you to apply that same skill to the boardroom. Nate stepped closer. You want me to spy on Lily? I want you, Victor replied coldly, to save her from herself, before Kane pulls her under again. Nate didn't reply right away. Part of him owed Victor for bringing him into the corporate world, but another part of him, a deeper, more morally grounded part, hated being used as a pawn. Still, if Lily was in danger, maybe this was how he protected her, even if she'd never know it. Fine, he said finally. But if I find out you're just using me to control her, this deal's over. Victor smiled. You'll do fine. Back at the Grand Phoenix, Phyllis burst into her suite, furious. She grabbed her laptop and began hacking into Victor's cloud files. She'd planted spyware in Newman Enterprises servers months ago, just in case, and now her gut was telling her Kane had been telling the truth. Within minutes, she was staring at redacted files, timelines, transaction logs, most leading back to Carter, and a strange offshore account linked to someone called KK International. Phyllis's hands trembled. Kane and Kane International, Kane's late father's defunct business. She gasped. He's not just looking for revenge. He's trying to resurrect something. The next morning, Claire met with Kyle on the rooftop of the Abbott mansion. He took the bait, Claire said, handing Kyle the second flash drive. Adam's going to play his role, and Lily is already off balance. Kyle looked uneasy. And what about Kane? Claire's eyes darkened. Kane's a wild card. If he stays on script, he's useful. If not, Kyle frowned. We're not actually going to take him down, are we? Claire paused. Not unless he makes us. Later that afternoon, Lily stood on Chancellor Winter's balcony, staring out over the city skyline. She clutched her phone, reading a text from Kane. Meet me tonight. I need to show you something. Something about Victor. Something about you. She felt her heart twist. The lines between duty and emotion were blurring fast. Her head told her this was part of Victor's plan. Her heart whispered that maybe Cain was trying to protect her from something far more dangerous than love. As the sun set over Genoa City, secrets prepared to come to light. Phyllis had evidence that could burn Victor. Adam was balancing loyalty with manipulation. Claire was wielding power no one saw coming. And Cain Ashby, once an exile, now a master of the long game, was about to flip the script and change the future of every player in this soap opera war. Because in The Young and the Restless, nothing stays buried forever, and sometimes, the most surprising resurrection isn't from the grave, it's from the ashes of betrayal.